questions here, and then I want to get to a lot of our fans and ask questions on social media. But what has the reaction been like? I feel like since the 40th Star Wars celebration, just the fervor of the fans, the excitement over the return of you to Obi-Wan, the rediscovery of the fandom of the prequels, seeing multiple generations of fans around the world just loving you for your portrayal of the character. How does that feel? Tell us a little bit about that. It's a loaded question.
It doesn't suck. It's been a wild ride, and just so many incredible experiences with the fans, and so much support, and I can't tell you how much it's all meant to me. But yeah, I really appreciate all of it.
That's so awesome. I Stand By Hayden on Instagram specifically asks, you mentioned so many beautiful fan interactions. Are there any that have stuck out to you over maybe your time here today, or just in general over the past few years?
So many memorable ones, and a few today, definitely. I mean, a lot at sort of conventions like these. Just seeing some incredible costumes, and I've had a few marriage proposals.
What, to just
not to me, but to like take a picture together, and then the guy will get down on one knee, and that's very memorable. Anytime I see like an Anakin tattoo, you know, just because my face is permanently on someone else's body, that always, you know, is pretty neat. Someone today had a massive Anakin across their entire back. I don't know if they're here. Is that you? There he is.
Take off your shirt.
Do it. It's awesome.
You can hop on for a sec. Yeah, hop on for a sec. What's your first name? Chris. Give it up for Chris, everybody.
But I've also had lots of fan interactions where they don't even, it's not like I don't fully get recognized, so they think that I have a strong resemblance to myself. Even just last night in the elevator at the hotel that I'm staying at, I got in the elevator and this couple got in behind me, and I could feel the guy sort of staring at me. He was like, "Have you ever heard of Anakin Skywalker?" Yeah. And he was like, "That's so crazy." And we both kind of had a chuckle, but just at sort of how much I looked like this character.
And did you break it to him, or did you?
No.
Nice. Well played. We obviously hear the fans now in 2023. Last year was the 20th anniversary of, I believe, Attack of the Clones. I worked in a movie theater back then. Shout out to movie theater employees out there. This was before you booked your seat online, right? This was the days of people waiting overnight. What was it like 20 years ago? Just seeing the news coverage and the stories, and seeing the fans' excitement back when you first were in Attack of the Clones and it was released. Do you remember your memories back then?
It was a surreal experience. I mean, it was a real event, and going to some of these premieres and seeing sort of all the crowds, and it was sort of, you know, my first time getting my feet wet in this world, and it was an incredible experience, and it continues to this day. It's a pretty remarkable thing.
Yeah, that's so cool. Do you remember? Did you at the time, or did you see it with a big live audience, or you obviously saw it at the premiere? What was it like seeing that for the first time? Any emotions?
Just awesome. I mean, just the cheers at the opening scroll would get, it's a very special thing to be a part of, and it's just been an amazing ride.
That's so cool. We've got a lot of Star Wars coming up in this evening, but you saw it in the video. A bunch of fans. We saw who was in that video there that shouted out "Life is Ass." Yeah, there you are. But just on social media in general, we know you and we love you from Star Wars, but we're also fans of you in Life is a House, Shattered Glass, Jumper. There were so many questions about there, like, can we get a Little Italy too? Can we get, Life is a Glass too? What outside of Star Wars, what film do you feel like is the most important to you? Because a lot of fans ask that question on social.
I mean, the ones that you just mentioned are some of my favorites. The Life is a House was a big one for me, just in terms of the work I got to do as an actor, getting to work with Kevin Kline.
Sure.
That was really he's amazing. Shattered Glass as well. Jumper was probably, outside of Star Wars, the most fun that I've had making a film.
Sure.
Just because we got to travel all around the world and go to all those different locations that you see in the movie. Those were probably some of my favorites.
Is there one that fans bring up the most to you when they come up to the table, like beyond? Oh, we got a lot of Little Italy's in the back. It's probably the most recent, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But that and I guess probably Jumper would be one that people talk about.
Yeah, love it. One of the best parts of the prequel series was the relationship that Anakin has with Obi-Wan, and obviously, beautifully and amazingly portrayed by you and Ewan McGregor. We got to talk to Ewan McGregor last year in Boston, and he was just so excited because it was right before the Obi-Wan premiere. He said it was so great to see you again. We got to relive both the fun side of things with Anakin and Obi-Wan in the new series with the flashback, and then we saw the tragedy again, right? They're meeting for the first time. What was more interesting for you as an actor to come back to? Was it the flashback Padawan scene, or was it the now Vader fight scene?
Yeah, I mean the flashback scene was a lot of fun, and just to swing a lightsaber with Ewan again, and our old Jedi robes. That was really free, and it was just kind of like old hat. But the work that I got to do as Darth Vader, that was definitely what I was probably most excited for, because I was getting to explore new territory with the character and kind of broaden my imprint on the character too. And I was just so happy with how that whole scene came out.
How about that scene, everybody? Come on. You spoke about getting a lightsaber in your hand. We got a lot of lightsabers out there. Let's see the lightsabers again, everybody. You got to train with the great choreographer Nick Gillard back on the prequels. Talk about some of those coming back to the fight scenes. Did it feel like it was natural? You were just getting back into it in both the Padawan training back scene and then also the final fight there.
I mean, I had spent so much time on the prequels with Nick Gillard, who I can't say enough great things about, and sort of the work that he did and his contribution to Star Wars is immense, and that's my foundation for everything. So when I got to come back, it was just sort of relearning a lot of my old moves, and of course it was a different group of people this time. But I always had Nick in the back of my head and wanted to make him proud.
Yeah, there's a lot of great videos that are out. They're kind of coming out now of behind-the-scenes footage of the prequels with you training and learning with Nick in front of green screens, like just some of the best fights and choreography. Talk about that experience about just learning how to fight. We all want to learn. We all practice and pretend like we know how to use a lightsaber, but you really know how to fight with a lightsaber.
Yeah, well, that was sort of what I was most excited for, to be honest with you, when I got cast, was the idea that I was going to get to swing a lightsaber, and they send you to Jedi training camp, and you go for a couple of months. months, and it was Nick Gillard and his team, and just every day we spent hours and hours working on these fights, and we filmed the prequels in Sydney, Australia, and Nick and I were neighbors on both episode 2 and episode 3. We just lived a couple apartments away from each other. So even when we weren't working, we would go out to dinner and just spend a lot of time together, and we're still very close. But yeah, man, that was just, you know, you couldn't ask to have more fun. Just going to work every day and being given a lightsaber and then being taught how to fight with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. We've got some other famous scenes from the prequels, from really all of your work as Anakin. So we're gonna play a little game, if that's cool with you, called Pixelated Pics. Here's how it works, everybody. We're gonna put a very pixelated image of a famous Anakin Vader scene on the screen for Hayden to have to guess. We're gonna see how many pixelated moments you can
We'll see how I do.
We'll see how you do. We have a softball to start here, and no matter what happens, we're gonna applaud uproariously for Hayden when he gets it right. Yeah, no matter how many tries it takes. And then I'd love to hear like a little quick retrospective on each scene and sort of some moments. All right, so let's throw up picture number 1 there on the screen for everybody to see. All right, here we go. I said we're gonna start with the softball, everybody. What scene is this?
This is you and I having our big battle on Mustafar, I believe. Woo!
Yeah, and this was one of my favorite scenes to get to do. You know, you and I had spent a lot of time fighting side by side, and this was our first time having a real go at each other, and we were really looking forward to it. But we trained probably for a couple of months just on the choreography to this fight because it was pretty extensive, and we learned the entire fight from start to finish.
Wow!
And then when we finally got to set to film it, we were well prepared and we were really having a go at each other.
Were there any dangerous moments in filming this scene?
I mean,
Not
you know,
dangerous on set, but yeah.
well, you're swinging like a metal, rod as hard as you can, really. Like we're not pulling our punches, and every now and then you do miss. And so you take one on the hand or wherever, and we had a few more wounds from that sequence. But I liked all that stuff. I was happy to earn my scars.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, next one, a little harder for you here at this one. Any guesses? Any guesses?
Can I get some help on this one?
We'll do one more for you. There we go.
I'm still struggling.
A little clearer.
No one can guess that.
That's you and I in a speeder at the near the beginning of episode 2, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Another famous scene.
Find a speeder that I quite liked. But yeah, I remember doing this. They had actually built the speeder itself, but it was on like a mechanical, I don't know what you call it, like a gimbal or something.
Sure.
That would sort of give it some movement, and then everything else is blue screen or green screen. And I mean, you and I just had a lot of fun together, and he was always making me laugh, and this was sort of early days for us.
There's a very cute picture that's super famous of you just like smirking like outside of this speeder, and I feel like it's like everywhere. Have you seen this?
I don't know that I've seen that one. I've seen a blooper though where I think I pulled the handle off. The steering wheel itself wasn't properly attached.
That's probably right for that moment. Tell us about the jumping out scene too, because again, it's the first time we see Anakin's sort of boldness and recklessness.
Yeah, sure.
How was that filmed?
That was just me hopping over the edge onto a big blue mat. And I forget. I think we filmed a little bit of something with me falling, but to be honest, I think most of that was CGI. That was like CGI Anakin.
Yeah, movie magic.
Movie magic.
CGI. All right, let's take a look at this next one. All right, this setting kind of maybe helps you here. Oh, the crowd, I think the crowd knows.
Are we on the boo?
I think we're on the
Is this going to be Natalie and I?
This is Natalie.
Yeah, so this was not filmed in front of a blue screen. We went to Lake Como in Italy. And,
I'm from Italy.
What's that?
Our C3PO
It kind of looks like it. It does kind of look like it. They're my best men.
Talk about working with Natalie Portman. Obviously, your chemistry was amazing in both films. But what was it like working with her?
Yeah, I love working with Natalie. We also had a really good time together and went on a great adventure together. You and I don't think came with us to Italy when we were filming on location. So after we were done in Australia, we went to, I think we started in Italy, and then we went to Seville, I believe, in Spain, and then we went to Tunisia to do some of the Tatooine stuff. So yeah, Natalie and I became very close, and I loved working with her. She, was an incredible actress, obviously.
Of course. Make some noise if you'd like to replace yourself with Natalie Portman. All right, I keep spoiling them a little bit, but here we go. I think the colors are the key there.
The colors are the key.
Yeah.
This is I think the beheading of Count Dooku.
Yeah, it is. Again, legendary actor.
There it is, yeah,
Christopher
Christopher
Lee. My gosh, not only this scene, but then the scene from the previous scene where you fight with Obi-Wan versus Dooku. Two great scenes. But again, just this classic throne scene where we get do it for the first time for me as well. Let's talk about this scene.
Yeah, it was a very satisfying scene to get to film. And I was particularly proud of this sort of scissor move. Because I think I had some input on that one. But yeah, I enjoyed taking Christopher Lee's head off.
Right after his two hands too. It was
That's right.
Double whammy there. All right.
Okay, we know what this is.
Yeah.
This is from the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah.
And this is Ewan and I in the flashback sequence.
Look at that, everybody. Come on, applause for that.
So, this was my first time filming in what they call stagecraft, which is this big volume, where they surround you with these LCD screens and they actually display the environment for you, and it's sort of the replacement, I guess, for the blue screen or the green screen technology. And as an actor, it's incredible because you really feel like you're in Star Wars. So just walking onto the set, seeing the environment, seeing Ewan, and,
Was this the first shot that you did with Ewan live, or you had something previous?
No, we had filmed something before this, but this was a big day for us, and we actually hadn't had a chance to rehearse the fight together because Ewan was so busy with all of his filming, and so we trained independently, and then this scene was the first time we were actually doing it together. And it was like it was kind of like riding a bike, I guess. Like we were like, oh yeah, I remember how to do this with you, because it is like a dance. You learn where your feet are going, and you learn where you're going to swing your sword, and you're very dependent on the person that you're doing the scene with. And Ewan and I have a good sort of lightsaber rapport and good lightsaber timing, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. More fun to go back to the robes or the suit for you personally?
It's hard to pick. I mean, I spent so much time as Anakin, and it's a version of the character that I really know very well, and I love that costume. I remember when we were doing the prequels, just every day getting that costume on was like a real experience. but putting the Darth Vader costume on is something that I have maybe even more reverence for.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But they're different, you know.
A lot of people on social also asked about what it feels like to be in the suit. Is it uncomfortable? Is it hot? Is it sweaty? Is it just...
Yeah, all the above.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an incredible costume to get to put on, but it's not easy to move around in, and it's extremely hot.
Yeah.
Like you break a sweat pretty quick. But they had this like Under Armour component to the suit where they would pump like a cooling liquid all around your body to sort of cool you down in between takes. And so if you got too hot, you'd sit down and they'd plug you into this machine. And it's just the mechanics of that kind of just aided to the whole feeling like you were Vader, you know?
Yeah, now all I can picture is you sitting down and be like, we have to plug in Vader.
Yeah, exactly.
Charge up his suit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, we have one final one here, and then we're going to get to some of our fan questions that were submitted. Here we go. Final Anakin scene.
I mean, can anyone?
All right.
figure that one out?
We're going to go in a little further. Say.
It's not me though. It is me, but it's a young Jake Lloyd who, you know what? Yeah, let's give it up for Jake Lloyd. I love this scene. I love this pod racing scene, and I loved what Jake Lloyd brought to the character. And I had studied, you know, a young Anakin a lot when I was getting ready for episode 2, and I just, you know, I remember seeing it in the theater for the first time before I got involved. Just going with a bunch of my friends and walking out of it, you know, just sort of in awe of what I just witnessed, but very much taken with like this kid. I was like, wow, they really found the perfect kid, I thought. And so I don't think we give him enough credit.
No.
So yeah.
I was going to ask you, how much of his performance did you take with you into the first?
Yeah, lots. I mean, I kind of saw my job as sort of trying to be like the connective tissue between all of these different elements, and you know, mostly, you know, trying to be an older version of what Jake did. And so I tried to sort of instill my Anakin with a lot of what I sort of got from watching his performance. So yeah, I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, I think it's seamless. A lot of you will agree. One of the fan favorite scenes was the ride up the elevator. Anakin's so nervous to see Padme again.
Yeah.
You lock eyes, and it's like we watched you grow up, you know, in reality, right? What a beautiful scene. When Anakin...
I think that was one of my first scenes that I filmed as Anakin.
Awesome.
And those nerves were genuine.
That's cute. All right, let's get to some fan questions. We obviously put out an ask on social media for fans, so let's get to a bunch of them. And then we have a fun game that the entire audience played before you came out here that we're going to play with you at the end. That's cool. All right, first up from Facebook, Ash Drake. Ash Drake, you out there anywhere? Sometimes you're in the audience. Is it true? Oh, you're right there. What's up, Ash? Is it true that during your filming career, you started work on a farm? As someone who supports and lives in an agricultural community, what do you farm and what is your favorite aspect about that career versus the film industry?
Yeah, it is true that I got a farm in like my mid-20s. I wouldn't really call it a career though. It was more of like an anti-career, if anything, because I never made money at it, and it would cost me a lot of money to keep these animals, and they were all just kind of like pets.
Yeah.
So I had like a flock of sheep for a while, and I would go and herd these sheep, and I had pigs and chickens and goats, and I really enjoy that environment, and I just sort of like being out in the country and having that connection to nature. But maybe one day I'll figure out how to make a living at it. I don't know.
What would be your go-to? Would it be animals, livestock, or
If I wanted to act, I've always wanted to plant a lot of lavender and farm lavender. And, got a bit of a thing for lavender.
Yeah. You're about to get hundreds of lavender now from all yeah, just packs and packs of seeds from all the fans. Stacy McMahon-McLaughlin from Facebook. Do you wish they would do another Star Wars holiday special, but with the prequel cast? First off, have you seen the Star Wars holiday special ever?
I have, yeah. I think one's enough. I'm good with just one.
From Fantas Alley on Twitter. Apologies if I butchered that. If Star Wars were to get a show like Marvel's What If, I don't know if you've seen that series where they reimagine Marvel characters as if they were in a different
I've heard about
universe.
it, yeah.
Yeah. What storyline would you love to explore more? Example, Anakin and Padme raising Luke and Leia. What? I guess yeah. If we kept the story going and Anakin didn't fall.
Yeah, I guess that would be it. If Anakin didn't go to the dark side, and we got to see, him and Padme raising a young Luke and Leia, and Uncle Obi-Wan's there. That'd be nice. I like that.
I thought you were going to say Uncle Owen was there. I'm like, I don't think Uncle Owen. Tragically.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, so cool. All right, from at Odie Polarizi. Yeah, there we go. Say it better for me. Shout it out. Oda Polarizi, and also an artist in Artist Alley joining us this week. Is that right? Awesome. With so many talented artists, quite a lot of them here at this convention, how does it feel when you're presented fan art? What does that make you feel?
Oh, I love it. I've gotten quite a bit of fan art over the years, and it's something that means a lot to me. People put a lot of time into these drawings and paintings, and some of them are really incredible.
Yeah.
Like they should be selling these things and making a living at it. Maybe some of them are. But yeah, and I keep them all, so I've got a nice collection of fan art now.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's awesome. You have a whole room dedicated to that, kind of just bring it down. Yeah, we can give a round of applause for that.
Yeah, I've got a spot for a lot of my Star Wars keepsakes, and I've got a lot of my fan art, and then I also keep I get a lot of badges from the 501st.
Yeah,
so I've got a nice collection of those and coins. Yeah, it's pretty
You
cool.
could probably enter any city and throw down one of those coins and instantly
Almost, yeah.
get served. Yeah, amazing. We have one final game that we're going to play here, Hayden, and then you can kind of react to some of your
All right.
decisions as well. We played a game with the fans beforehand. They all voted for their favorite this or that in Star Wars. All right, you'll see how it goes, so we can throw that up on the screen there. So first up, here we go, is number 1. Between a vacation spot of the city of Coruscant or the country of Naboo, what would you pick?
Definitely Naboo.
Yeah. You mentioned filming there in Italy. What was another spot in Star Wars that was exceptionally beautiful, or that you feel like was an important moment for you and you're lucky to get to go there?
Well, again, most of it was in front of a blue screen or green
sure.
screen, so it was Lake Como in Italy, and then Seville in Spain. That was another beautiful location. We were filming in front of these Parliament buildings. I'm not sure what they were, but they seemed very important. And then of course getting to go to Tunisia, just because you're going back to where they started.
Yeah.
And that was special, being there with George Lucas and out in the desert. It was awesome.
Tatooine.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, number 2. Vehicle, an X-Wing, or you're very famous, we talked about it a little bit, XJ6 Airspeeder.
Ah, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for an X-Wing.
80% of the fans pick that. I think it's always interesting, the mechanics of the X-Wing scenes. I'm assuming it was very similar to your story about the airspeeder, that you were on kind of like a moving sort of vehicle thing.
Yeah, it was, only it wasn't the full ship, it was just like the part that I'm sitting in. And I think the front of it was missing because there was a camera there. But yeah, that was, you know, I was in that for like maybe a day, half a day, with George Lucas sort of shouting direction to me off camera, and yeah, it was fun to get to do that too.
That's awesome. All right, number 3, you have to pick your favorite droid.
That's not fair.
No, you have to do it. We forced 2,000 people to pick their favorite droid.
I mean,
C-3PO or R2-D2.
Well, I did make C-3PO.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with R2-D2.
Yeah. Clear answer. C-3PO's not happy in this game.
He's like, what?
All right, next one. All right, your favorite hair, the Padawan braid or the Sith locks?
Honestly, I really like the Padawan braid. I was very happy to get to sport one of those. I remember watching episode 1, thinking that Ewan made it look really cool. I was ready to have my turn with it. But yeah, it was just such a distinctive, you know, unique thing to being a Padawan.
Very important, very Star Wars, right? Oh, wait.
Really? No one likes the Padawan braid.
9% of the people take it.
Got some support.
This is all your hair, right? These Sith locks, all genuine hair? Or do we get some extensions here? What's happening?
It was a mix.
Yeah.
It was a mix. I did what I could, and then they helped with the rest.
I love it.
What's that?
The tutorial on how to make Sith locks? Oh, there's a tutorial.
I gotta see this tutorial. Or I feel like I should participate somehow.
Yeah, maybe
Make it!
Oh, make
I
it.
could make it. Alright. I was never actually the one doing the braiding, but yeah, I could show you how I had it glued into my hair.
It would go viral pretty instantly. TikTok of Hayden Christensen putting locks in his hair. All right, number 5. All right, best spy. We talked about both of these a little bit. Mustafar or Vancor. So we've got the original and then the Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly attached to the Mustafar fight.
Yeah.
Both amazing fights.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I'm going Mustafar.
I want to talk quickly. I wanted to ask you about the scene where you're traveling through the village that came up. How cool was it to actually like walk and move as Vader and be able to do some of those classic kind of Vader sports chokes?
Yeah, I mean, I had such a good time getting to do all the Vader stuff. You know, I should say that I did have some help.
Yeah, for sure.
I wasn't the only one in the suit,
For sure.
and you know, because there's a bit of a height disparity there. So they would put big lifts in the shoes, but that made it sort of a little challenging to get around. But no, I had 2 awesome guys helping me do it, Demetrius and Tom O'Connell.
Yeah, shout out to the stunt folks out there. That was such
So it was a real team effort.
yeah, for sure. And that's what makes the character so memorable.
Yeah,
it's
it's always been a team effort.
And that's how Vader's always been, like you said.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
That was good fun.
Awesome. All right, last one, Hayden. Here we go. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Jedi or
I gotta choose.
You gotta
Jedi
choose
or Sith.
between Jedi or Sith.
I'm very indecisive. I don't know.
Oh, classic Anakin up here, everybody. I can't decide between Jedi or Sith.
I mean,
It's pretty close.
you know, well, gotta go the Jedi are, but the Sith. It's a very exclusive club.
Yeah. Both answers